chill.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news. And on today's show, The Simpsons go anime, James Gunn takes over the DCEU, and wrestling is once again all elite. But as you know here at Model Behaviour, action figures always come first, or sometimes not at all. So let's talk about them. I'm going to try and do this episode a little more loosey-goosey, so no edits and whatnot. This is more of a free-form conversation, but let's see if I can still get the pertinent information out to you. First of all, Mezco, you're killing me, guys. You really are. We've got a new Mezco reveal, and on one hand, he looks beautiful, and on the other hand, can you please stop announcing things until you catch up with your pre-orders? That's what I'm saying. In the meantime, though, take a good look at the Mezco Gangreen Estates Theodore Sodcutter. So Gangreen Estates looks like it's going to be a whole new line, kind of a new line. This guy would fit right next to the occult kind of characters, like your, what's his name? Atticus Doom. I got him right behind me. I was playing with him today. So I love the look of this guy so much. He looks so... He looks like he's straight out of a Disney Haunted Mansion kind of thing. Those are the vibes that I'm getting, and I dig that so much. $120 though. So no, I'm not. Davey don't play that. Davey really wants to play that. Davey should stop talking about himself in the third person. It's a little creepy. But I love it, but I can't justify it. So I gotta just walk on by. Walk on by. See, you can't get me with a copyright strike if I sing it myself. Dude, I've been getting copyright stricken left and right recently. So, yeah, he looks great. All the different accoutrements and accessories. You can also do like a double deal where you can throw in some extra bucks and get some glow-in-the-dark little gremlins, which looks super fun as well. Also, you can do a different deal where you get some gremlins and a t-shirt. I love the package. But I'm still waiting for Ghost Rider, Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, Bishop, Spider-Man, Green Goblin. Like, no more pre-orders. This is bonkers. I don't even want to think about how much money that represents. It's really, quite frankly, offensive when you look at my underwear and how many holes are in it and the elastic's gone and when was the last time I bought anything that I actually need. Yeah, I have a gigantic list of Mezco pre-orders. That's when you know there's a problem. Let me read you the synopsis that they give for this figure. So, Mezco have launched a new 1/12 collective sub-theme with Gangreen Estates, an all-original IP. The first figure in the 1/12 scale is Theodore Sodcutter. He comes packed with 6 total heads and a massive chunk of alternate hands and accessories. In addition to the 1/12 figure, he'll also come in a retro-inspired magazine, or with a retro-inspired magazine. Glow-in-the-dark graveyard gremlins and a t-shirt are also available. Items are listed with a 4 to 6 week shipping window. Retail is $120 for the main fig, $13 for the gremlins, and $20 for the t-shirt. There's a discount if you get multiple items. 4 to 6 weeks. So does that mean that he's ready to ship? He's ready to go? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? Because if that's the case, and we're still waiting for Bishop, not to mention Batman 89, who, if you picture the little meme of the mother playing with the kid in the swimming pool and the other one drowning, the skeleton underneath is Batman 89. So you got some real cojones, Mezco. This is like, it's the equivalent of your friend calling you and saying, yeah, I can't meet up. I'm sick. And then you go out and you see them and you're like, dude, what the hell? What are you doing? That's the same with Mezco. They're like, I can't release these pre-orders. I'm too busy. I've been ill. And then, hey guys, look at these new intellectual properties that we own. Come and buy them now. Not cool. Not cool, Mezco. And this is coming from a Mezco fanboy. I loves ya, Mezco. But you're killing me. So as much as I would love this Theodore Sodcutter, just, the name alone, the sound of this line sounds amazing. Nah, not until we start to catch up on our GD pre-orders. and see how long I hold out. NECA are keeping up with their 31 Days of Fright, this time with a Captain Spaulding. Is it Captain Spaulding? Yeah, Captain Spaulding. I knew it was Spaulding. I wasn't sure if he had risen to the ranks of Captain by the time he put on that clown makeup. So if you enjoy your grimy Rob Zombie type movies and whatnot, this is the dude for you. It's only a little picture, but he's going to be your sort of 6-inch kind of scale. And folk, there's a big Rob Zombie audience out there. I ain't one of them. My Rob Zombie love finished with the early 2000s. Edge coming out on SmackDown. Hey, my Durango, Mambo 95. Simming to my whole dig boot shedding ultra blabs. I don't know what the words are, but that was a fun song. That was the most 2001 song. The most 2000 song was Bar with the bar, the bang, biggie, 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 said the booty, said up, jump the boogie. Then Rob Zombie took over with My Durango. So there you go. You can get a Captain Spaulding, but we've had a few days of 31 frights. So we also have a teaser for London at midnight, London after midnight. Not directly at midnight, that's too punctual. It's sometime after midnight, which would be a Jack the Ripper kind of figure. And that's cool as well. I wonder how much time needs to elapse until we can go, serial killer figure? That's really cool, because Jack the Ripper is more like a urban legend Freddy Krueger type character now, but no, he was a real person who murdered people, but it's okay. NECA, it's got to that stage where we're like, nah, he's like the Phantom of the Opera or whatever. I'm sure they're going to do a banging job though. And stay tuned for about, 100 years time when we'll get NECA's Jeffrey Dahmer figure. But, maybe it's not a fair comparison. I don't know. What do you think? Either way, I'm sure it will look cool and gruesome, and really, that's what it's all about. Hasbro Star Wars are getting into the festive season with their Star Wars Stormtrooper. So this is the Star Wars Holiday First Order Stormtrooper exclusive, which is now live on Amazon, retailing for $29.99. I love Christmas, but I'm not sure about these Star Wars repaints. I think if you really are a massive Star Wars fan, I can see the appeal. It's not something for me, but I kind of dig it. The way that you can celebrate the season, but also in your own inimitable, that's the second time I've tried to use that word today, inimitable action figure kind of style. I think it's fun. So pushing like near $30 for a regular figure that's just repainted, you're gonna have to work harder than that to convince me. But if you want to have a Stormtrooper type Christmas, well, you can go to Amazon. But if you can't wait for Christmas to get your seasonal dose of Star Wars, then there is also the Halloween Wookie. So this guy is the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch Wookie Halloween edition with the little goblin dude. As well, the Boglin, which when I hear Boglin, I just think of the hand puppets from the 80s, which were amazing. They've kind of remade them and relaunched them at different times, but can't quite capture the magic of those original 80s Boglins. So yeah, Star Wars cashing in on every holiday. What the heck. They've got the license, might as well print the money. McFarlane have shown a new image of one of their dragons coming out in their Dragon Wave. Now this is the McFarlane Dragons Sybaris, I'm going to say, from the Berserker clan. And look, we know the deal with these McFarlane Dragons. Like, beautiful. There's only one picture to go on, but just look at it. It looks stunning. The sculpting, the paintwork, but also next to almost zero articulation, I'm guessing. Todd, he hates his articulation. Loves action figures, hates articulation. Just, it makes him mad. Anytime he sees a articulating figure, he just wants to get some glue and weld it all in place. No, that's how it should look. My Todd McFarlane is dangerously close to George Lucas. It's all about Spawn. He's the key. If we can make him work, then it's like poetry. It rhymes. Everything is Spawn or Batman and Jar Jar. So it's gonna look great. I like my action figures. I like my articulation. If it had some of that, then I would be so tempted to throw him in with some Mythic Legions and that kind of thing. But time will tell. Maybe when it comes out, we'll see. Oh no, you can actually move it more than it looks, but I doubt it. So the original dragon that they first showed was the Eternal Clan Dragon, and he was retailing for about $40, so we can pretty much assume that this next one, he's going to be that same kind of ballpark. Sticking with Star Wars, Hasbro have shown off their Force Effects Elite Luke Skywalker Return of the Jedi lightsaber. I spoiled it. You know I was going to talk about a lightsaber now. Gave the game away. This is actually one of my favorite lightsaber designs. I think it's kind of, it looks sort of retro, because I think when they got into the prequels and stuff, the lightsaber started to look a bit too slick. Like the Jedi had bought them at Apple or something like that, or they were Beats lightsabers. This looks like Luke Skywalker built this thing in a cave out of scraps! And that's what I dig. And yeah, the green looks really cool. It's going to retail for $278.99, and it's going to be available in the spring of next year. I don't own any lightsabers, but I could do. Like, I could conceivably own a single lightsaber. But again, it's super expensive. But I think it would make a nice backdrop, because then you can turn it on for each video and have the lightsaber light behind. Oh, the cogs are turning now. Okay, I might have to get one of the ones that can change color. There are lightsabers that change color, aren't there? Comment below, let me know, because if there are, your boy Dave might have to look into that. Maybe I could get a Reva lightsaber. Oh no, that's not going to happen. We're going to go full-on 1960s Batman with this, because Biff, Bang, Pow Entertainment are doing some Twilight Zone figures. I sounded like Dan Who there. Pow! Entertainment doing some the Twilight Zone figures. I had lightsaber on the brain. I can't just transition from one story to another that quickly. So Twilight Zone, super retro. Let me read you some of the blurb here. Biff Bang Pow and Entertainment Earth. Okay, it's not Biff Bang Pow Entertainment. It's Biff Bang Pow and Entertainment Earth. There we go. They are bringing you the Twilight Zone 3 3/4 retro action figures convention exclusives. These exclusives include 20,000 feet Gremlin with diorama, the Invaders Invader with diorama, and Eye of the Beholder Doctor with diorama. 3 3/4 inch figures. That's the size they are. And that's all of the details. I love me some classic old Twilight Zone. I watched all the Simpsons episodes that referenced them, and then finally watched the Twilight Zone, and I was like, oh, that's where these stories come from. So I think that's how a whole new generation got an appreciation for Twilight Zone. And if you appreciate them enough, then you can immortalize them with action figures. This is a big one for me. Jada Toys have unveiled officially their first 3 6-inch Street Fighter figures. Oh, I love Street Fighter. It's so... I just got a little wave of 90s endorphins there. I freaking love Street Fighter. I can hear the theme tune in my head now. Which was that? Ryu's stage? Obviously, I'm not that much of a fan. Clearly a fake fan. Can't even identify that music track. But the first 3 figures we're getting are Ryu, Fei Long, and Chun-Li. It is Chun-Li, isn't it? Yeah, it is Chun-Li. Had to check my notes there. And they all look good, but it's going to depend on the price point, because these are less Storm collectibles, more Marvel Legends, but I don't think they look as nice as Marvel Legends. So it's going to be tough. I might pick one up for the review. So I think you guys would be interested to see what it's like out of the box and see my view on it. Do you care about my view? Yeah, you do. Come on, be honest. So I'm excited that we're getting a new affordable line of Street Fighter figures. I would love to have the Storm Collectibles ones, but man, if you wanted to go back and start to buy all of... No. Too expensive. I need some of that Mezco pre-order money back to start doing that. So, Davey, don't play that. But a new line of affordable Street Fighter characters, if they could somehow give a cast iron guarantee that they were actually going to complete the whole, like, Super Street Fighter set, 16 characters, that would be amazing. But I don't think they're going to put any promises on that. But it looks encouraging. Like I said, not as good looking, not as high end as, like, your best Marvel Legends, but they look functional. They look decent, so I'm going to watch this one quite closely. Just in time for Halloween, Super 7 have shown their new version of Muckman and Eyeball Joe, which is a luminous glow-in-the-dark looking one. And I think for Muckman, for a character like that, perfect little bit of glow-in-the-dark integration there. So I wouldn't buy it just because, you know, time, space, all that kind of thing. Not less time. Money, space, that's what it is. But I can still look at it and go, man, that looks really pretty. Because you know what? It does. I love some corny glow-in-the-dark stuff, and this looks super fun. Super 7 have also unveiled their Power Rangers reaction figures, and these, again, in the flatbacks, card backs, that's what I'm trying to say, they look pretty. As like, just you put them up on a wall, I think that would look really, really cool. So I understand the aesthetic. If you take them out, I don't get that, weirdos. But also what's nice is they seem reasonably priced for what they are. The basic figures are $20, and then the Zords are $23. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, that's still expensive, but it is what it is, you know? And I really like the look of the Zords. I think those are kind of cool. Wouldn't mind maybe. I do talk about you 3.75-inch perverts out there. It's like, I don't get it, but at the same time, I kind of do. When I see the right thing, for whatever reason, seeing the Power Rangers Zords, that just hits the spot just right. So I'm gonna keep a sneaky eye out for that, especially at that price. Jazzwares have unveiled a ringside exclusive, bloodied up Thunder Rosa figure, and she looks cool. It's funny, I did sort of rag on McFarlane occasionally for doing the bloody variants, because I'm like, I don't get it. But in this case, actually, I can appreciate that. Actually, that does look kind of cool, mainly because it relates specifically to a match that I remember watching and enjoying, which was I think it was like the steel cage match where Thunder Rosa won the AEW Women's title, and I do love her look. I think she's got a great look with the Deo Day of the Dead is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to say Deo Des Muertes, but it sounds like saying Deo doesn't sound right. It's like Deo. So regardless of my rambling, the figure looks really pretty, and as I said, it's a Ringside Collectibles exclusive. And finally, for toys, 5K have shown images of their Resident Evil, don't call it Resident Evil because it's not official, I don't think, Liquor figure. And this is retailing for about $51.99 from their website. And for the quality that 5K do, that's quite a decent sounding price, I think. I mean, you take a look at the figures and that looks horrifying. That takes me back to playing Resident Evil on the PlayStation and seeing that liquor appear on the ceiling for the first time and being like, oh, we're a long way from Kansas now. So this is a great representation of that character with the brain out the front, the huge big tongue, the muscles, and the gnarly special claws. So I like the look of it. Again, I don't need it, but it is fun to go just like, wow, that's a cool thing, basically. So that's all I do on this show. Just point at stuff and go, hey, that looks cool. Over in TV and movie news now, the DCEU is done. And in its place we have the DCU. Big changes afoot. We're dropping a letter. Don't worry, folks, you can all come back. Everything's fine now. But seriously, we have two new people who are in charge of the DCU. We've got James Gunn, the director of the Suicide Squad, the good Suicide Squad, Guardians of the Galaxy. Why am I telling you this? If you're niche enough to watch this show, you know who James Gunn is. So I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. He is a creative person. He's got his ideas and his tastes, and people tend to like him. I like him. Not everything. Slither, that was a bridge too far for me, but Guardians of the Galaxy, I totally dig. I enjoyed his Suicide Squad for what it was, so if we're kind of following one person's creative idea, that's good. Because it seemed like they wanted to do that with Zack Snyder, but they lost confidence. And I don't blame them for losing confidence. He kind of won people back with the Snyderverse cut of Justice League, but still, that's 4 hours. That wouldn't have worked as a movie in the cinema. Or maybe it would have. Regardless, we've moved on. So I'm more than happy if they want to burn everything to the ground and kind of start again with Henry Cavill as Superman, and we'll move on to a brighter future. I don't know. They probably won't. It'll be like a soft reboot, so to speak. Because still, again, there is some good stuff. Like Wonder Woman was great, and then Wonder Woman 2 was awful. And, like I said, Ezra Miller keeps kidnapping people. Like there's good things and bad things. Poor old cyborg dude is like, hey, I was actually good. Why are we not doing anything with me? But the fact that we've got James Gunn leading the way now, that's kind of encouraging. There's another dude as well. Let me check my notes. Peter Safran. That's his name. So he's going to be more the dollars and cents kind of side of things, and James Gunn is the creative side. This does have, for you wrestling fans out there, does worry me a little bit, because it kind of has that feeling of the WCW reboot, where Eric Bischoff and Vince Russo came back together as a united force to rebuild WCW, and it was like, oh boy, I don't know about this. It has those kind of vibes, but hey, the fact that at least Warner Brothers know that they gotta shake things up, that does actually give you some encouragement. Also, they have apparently said that not all DC things will come under their remit. Apparently, the Joker sequel, Joker Folly, whatever it is, Joker 2 with Lady Gaga, Electric Boogaloo, that's not going to be part of their thing. That's its own separate thing. And so might possibly the Matt Reeves Batman stuff. That might all be separate as well. But your core DCU type movies, that's under the remit of those two guys. Hopefully they can do something good with it. And on the Marvel side of things, Wakanda Forever has had its big press debut, premiere, and so far early rumblings. That's pretty good. And that's kind of all we can really go on. So that it's not a non-story, but there's not much to say. No official, this is how the film is, reviews are out. They don't exist yet. They're in people's minds and in the ether. But we have had the whole hoopla, it's out. Human eyes have seen it, and the general scuttlebutt, the general consensus is that it's good. However, I mean, if I was a film critic, I wouldn't want to be the first person to say, I don't like Wakanda Forever, because I feel like there's so much social goodwill towards this film. People want it to do well, myself included, that if a negative Nancy comes out and is like, oh, well, I didn't think it was very good, people are going to be like, boo! So, yeah, good luck to you if you're going to write a negative review. But, look, I think from the trailers, from everything I've heard, it looks like a beautiful film. I really do think so. I have the highest hopes for it. And while trying to temper those expectations too, because the worst thing you can do is go into something with super high hopes, because you're only going to be disappointed. So I always try and temper expectations with this channel. I'm like, hey, come watch. I might say something amusing. Or not. Either way, you clicked. Thank you. That would be on the tagline on the Model Behaviour movie poster. Come have a go. Or don't. Whatever. So yeah, Wakanda Forever. It's a thing. It's happening. It's out. I'm looking forward to it. And speaking of Marvel and speaking of James Gunn, the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special has its trailer up on Disney Plus or on the YouTubes, wherever trailers debut. I guess I watched it on YouTube. And yeah, it looks like a bit of fun. Definitely one of those things where if you watch it or you don't watch it, your life will probably not be any different, except you will have watched the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. I feel like it's always nice to see the characters that you love. That's a great thing. And the people they're throwing into it, in case you want to stay completely spoiler free, I'm not going to say what's in the trailer, but you kind of know. Or you don't. I'm not going to say anyway. But I'm looking forward to watching it. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, amazing. But hopefully it seems like it might be a smaller scale kind of story. No huge, big alien invasions and space battles and all that jazz, but just more of a human, fun kind of Christmas story. You know the kind of Christmas story where it's like, oh, dad's got to get the present for the kid, and oh, he's got to, do this and that. And I think it might be that kind of vibe. And I kind of like that, like a genuine Christmas story that just happens to have the Guardians of the Galaxy in it. I like that. I'm looking forward to it. I think it might just be some good-natured fun. For the last 20 years or so, every year I have looked forward to the Simpsons Halloween special, and more times than not, I've been pretty disappointed by it, which I shouldn't be, because, it's modern Simpsons. For the last 20 years, it's been modern Simpsons. But I always hold out a little bit of hope they're going to pull one out of the bag, and occasionally they do. Like, sometimes one story will be quite good, and we've seen some preview art of an anime Simpsons, which is going to be a parody of Death Note. And I love when people will take The Simpsons and reimagine them, reinterpret them in different ways. One of my favorite pieces of random media is Bart Kira. If you haven't seen this, you can go to bartkira.com, it's free. It's a retelling of Akira, panel by panel, but with the Simpsons characters, and every page almost is done by a different artist. So there's hundreds of artists who have put this together, and they've done it in their own unique style. I was going to say inimitable again, but not 3 times in one episode. That's just overkill. So this isn't about Barkira. This is about the anime Simpsons. And judging by this picture, seeing this reinterpretation, already I'm excited to see what this full episode or segment looks like. And over in pro wrestling, the Elite are coming back. Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are going to be making a return to TV. This is off the back of CM Punk's press conference meltdown, fight backstage, investigations, criminal proceedings, all that awfulness. What a sorry way for CM Punk to end his career, maybe, but regardless of that nonsense, the Elite are finally coming back, which is great. And to be honest, I'm sure Kenny Omega probably didn't mind having an extra 2 months off to heal up. I'm sure that probably wasn't a bad thing. He's like, oh geez, I can't come back and wrestle? Yeah, that's fine. How long? 2 months? Make it 2.5? So yeah, I hope that they all come back reinvigorated, ready to kind of make up for things that have happened and kind of prove their critics wrong as well. And if they can do that, I'm really excited. It's fun times once again to be a pro wrestling fan. Also, speaking of pro wrestling changes, Triple H, you're still killing the game, no pun intended. This time, basically he's doing things that we've all been saying people need to do. I'm sure that when Triple H took over, he had a wish list from the internet, and he's like, yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna do all of this. The most recent thing he said is, hey, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, it's done. We're not doing it anymore. The stupidest, or one of the many stupid things that Vince McMahon would always do, is have the annual Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, where you have to have a Hell in a Cell match, or at least one, probably 2 or 3, because it's the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Do any of the feuds warrant a Hell in a Cell match? No. Is there any storyline reason for a Hell in a Cell match? The most brutal, career-defining match of all time? No, but it's October, so we need to have a Hell in a Cell match. So freaking stupid. So Triple H has said, no, the Hell in a Cell concept still exists. We're just not doing it as an annual pay-per-view because that made no sense. It was stupid, and at last, it's over. So at least we know the next time we finally get a Hell in a Cell match, it will be because the story deserves it. The feud is so vicious, the rivalry is so intense that the only way it can be settled is inside a Hell in a Cell. That's what pro wrestling storytelling actually is all about. Thank goodness we're finally getting back to that. Over in comics, I just wanted to show off some really cool covers that Marvel are going to be releasing over the next few months or weeks. I'll double check, I'll put down when they're coming out. But they're all tribute covers. I love tributes and reinterpretations, kind of like what I was saying about The Simpsons earlier. It's really fun to see something that you're familiar with turned into something else. It's still recognizable, and that's what these tribute covers are all about. I love in particular, big nostalgia for me, the Amazing Spider-Man cover with Venom. I remember that Mark Bagley art. That's just some of my perfect Spider-Man art right there. Now redone and zhuzhed up. I think it looks fantastic. You've got all these different representations of the Daredevil, Elektra stories. You've got Days of Future Past. Too many for me to list off the top of my head. But I just love it when we get tributes like this. So cool, so much fun. Take a little look at the gallery. See, let me know which ones you like the most, which homages you think, are the best kind of reinterpretations. I super dig it. So yeah, more like this, please. Over in video game news now, Bayonetta 3. All of the controversy aside about the voice actresses, the actual game has come out and got its reviews, and it is getting 9s pretty much across the board. 9 out of 10, baby. This thing looks really, really good. I love a good hack and slash, and this just looks like this. I always love the Bayonetta style, which is so over the top, so ridiculous, so much cheesecake and nonsense and giant monsters and devils and demons and angels. This looks great and glorious. So the basic gist of most write-ups that I've been reading is that gameplay, super awesome and fun, very, very pretty. The Switch does struggle a bit to handle all of the graphics on screen, which I understand. That's always going to be a bit of a caveat with the Switch, is it is this incredible portable handheld console. Like the fact that you can play these games on the go, amazing, but also it does occasionally go like, whoa, hang on, this is a lot. Basically, it's like me in life. Everything is bright and colorful and fast moving, but occasionally I'll just say, whoa, can we all just slow down a second. So yeah, I think Bayonetta, it's going to be one that I have to pick up. Maybe I might put it on my Christmas list, because this looks super fun. And if you want something a little bit more intensive, Project Red, CD Projekt Red. Normally I would have done a cut there and done it again, but now I'm going to keep on rolling. Keep on rolling, baby. You know what time it is. CD Projekt Red have announced that they are remaking the original Witcher game. And this sounds like a very smart move. Witcher with Henry Cavill, the TV show, that's done well. That's brought more people into Witcher. But it only makes sense that a lot of people naturally, if they haven't played a franchise before, and the first thing they see is part 3, which is the most modern Witcher game, it's like, I don't want to jump in the middle of a story. How far back do I have to go to start from the beginning? And the original Witcher is 15 years old. It's not that readily available, and it does show its age. It's 15 years old. So it makes perfect sense for CD Projekt Red to go, hey, don't worry, you want to jump on board with The Witcher? You can do, right from the start, in super pretty, glorious, full HD reimagining. So that's actually me. I need to jump in from the start. So when this comes out, which will be a while from now, I think I'm going to go for it. Hopefully by that point, I might even have a PS5. We don't know. It'll have to be a little bit further off in the future, but fingers crossed. We'll see where we are in life at that point. The holidays are coming, and if you want to celebrate in style, then why not check out some numbskull, nerdy, ugly Christmas sweaters. Intentionally ugly Christmas sweaters. This isn't a sponsorship or anything, I just like throwing out random, cool, fun stuff. And this is one of those. Although if there are any sponsors out there, look at how well I'm putting over stuff. It's amazing. Like, don't you want to buy these sweaters? I bet you do. They look awesome. Although I gotta say, I also want to include some of these pictures because state of these catalog model poses and whatnot. Like, this looks like the worst Christmas party I have ever been to. I don't want to hang out with these folks. I'm sure the actual human beings behind those pictures are lovely human beings, but the catalog poses and hey, ho, we're having fun at Christmas. Oh god, that looks like a nightmare. I would make my excuses, be like, oh, look at my wrist, I have to go. But that notwithstanding, the actual Christmas nerdy jumpers, I really like them. Over in Cosplay Corner today, we're going to shout out Elena Strike, someone who seems to specialize in very form-fitting superhero costumes. Well, there ain't nothing wrong with that. So, if you want to go and show her some support and some love and click those like buttons and whatever it is that you kids do on Instagram, I say that. I use Instagram plenty, but I always sound like an old man when I'm talking about social media, probably because I am an old man talking about social media. That's if the slipper fits. So yeah, if you like the look of this cosplayer, then go and show them some support, because hey, it's always fun to share some love in the community and have a pretty picture for the thumbnail, because you know what? Doesn't hurt. I gotta say, I haven't had my mug on a thumbnail for a while now, and the numbers are going up. I think that speaks volumes. And finally, have you ever wanted to stay the night in the Ghostbusters firehouse? Well, you can't, because it's an actual active firehouse in New York. Yours truly went to visit it back in 2018? Wow. That was a long time ago. Man, time's a son of a biscuit. But they have been recreating the Ghostbusters firehouse in a special Airbnb. Let me read you some info. This redesigned firehouse in the heart of Portland, Oregon has been made to look exactly like the iconic New York Ghostbusters station. Though sold out at this moment, booking for the Ghostbusters firehouse opened on October 21st at 10 p.m. for only $19.84 per night. Oh, because it's 1984. I was about to say that. That's insanely cheap. And then it's 1984, when Ghostbusters came out. I'm sure the prices are a little more expensive now. So yes, if you need somewhere to stay the night in Portland, you can look up the Ghostbusters Firehouse, and hey, you can have a spooky old time and get some Chinese food in to represent the last of the petty cash. And honestly, I would be really tempted to do that. If anyone is in the Portland area, let me know. Go on, treat yourself to a night in the Ghostbusters Firehouse and let me know what it's like. And that does it for Good News for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did watch this whole thing, because I think it was a little bit rambly, but I just wanted to chat and talk and hang out, do it a bit more, like I said, a little more loosey-goosey, baby. So yeah, let me know what you think about the items covered, and also, if you want to support the channel, then you know what you gotta do. you got to at least like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. The thumbs up, that does really help the channel with the old algorithm gods. But if you want to go one step beyond, you can go over to patreon.com/displaying-model-behaviour. Toss a couple of bucks my way, helps keep the lights on and gives me more time to make these videos. So gang, thank you as always for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior. Chill. Yeah. Cup of coffee.